Hello everyone, this is Dinesh Sharma from Raise the Bar with DS, and today I have come up with the video on figurative language and literary devices. Here in this video I will try to solve some mysteries about poetry and forms of poetry and what kind of literary devices and literary figures of speech are used, which are used in poetry by various literary artists and poets. So let's start. So before we start, let me make a request to you. So my name is Dinesh Sharma. I'm the chief mentor and representative at the Raise the Bar with DS, a YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe my channel so that you can encourage me and I can serve you with more and more such impactful, insightful and full of knowledge videos. So let's start. So the what define poetry. So what is poetry? What is the definition of poetry? And poetry it has roots in Greek language, where the word is poiesis, which means a making. The poetry is a form of literary art in which language is used for its aesthetic and evocative qualities, in addition to or in lieu of its apparent meaning. Poetry may be written independently as discrete poems or may occur in conjunction with other arts, as in poetic drama, hymns or lyrics. So what does all that mean? The real definition of poetry is up to you. So whatever you define, whatever you have concept of poetry or meaning of poetry or definition of poetry, you can define it in the way you like. So it's purely and totally on your perspective and the use of your language. So take a moment to write your own definition of poetry and let's discuss it. So you can try to define poetry in your own way. So according to the very literary artists and scholars, poetry doesn't have a fixed definition here. So the why is poetry important? Why we talk about poetry and why is poetry important here? Because poetry, so far as I know, is an ancient art form, like sculpture and singing and dancing. So poetry is also the most ancient, one of the most ancient art form. Poetry takes a simple concept and makes it more powerful and beautiful. Which one of these poems is better? Why? So there are two examples of poems on turtle, and both the poems have their own kind of language, So the first one is the turtle comes out of the water, walks across the sand, digs a nest and lays some eggs, by Mr. Brooks. The turtle breaks from the blue-black skin of the water, dragging her shell with its mossy scutes across the shallows and through the rushes and over the mud flats to uprise to the yellow sand to dig her ungainly feet a nest and hunker there, spewing her white eggs down into the darkness, by Mary Oliver. So these are two poems in front of you on the same topic, and you can see which one is better. What is figurative language? So if poetry is something which can be written in better way, so what is better poetry needs figurative language or better language. So what is figurative language? Figurative language presents ordinary things in fresh ways, communicating ideas that go beyond words' ordinary meanings. Here are some examples. Figurative language, it's like simile, a comparison of two unlike things using the words like or as. So whenever you have comparison in your sentence and you are using like or as, in the sentence, it means you are using simile there. So examples of simile is: life is like a box of chocolates, a famous line from the movie Forrest Gump, where Tom Hanks played the lead role. The girl is as beautiful as a rose. The willow is like an etching. Fine. The next one is it is a metaphor, a comparison of two unlike things without using the words like or as. So metaphor is implied simile. Examples of metaphor: my father is a tall, sturdy oak. The hotel is a diamond in the sky. Who knows if the moon's a balloon? Balloon. Personification. Personification, the giving of human qualities to an animal, object, or idea. Examples of personification are hunger sat shivering on the road. The flowers danced on the lawn. SpongeBob SquarePants and Smokey the Bear are personified characters. Hyperbole, an exaggerated statement used to make a point. Examples of hyperbole: an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I could sleep for a year. This book weighs a ton. Imagine the imagery. Figures of speech or vivid descriptions used to produce mental images appeal to the five senses. Examples of imagery: her clammy back felt like ball. After a summer's rain, the small pond behind my house was lapping at its bank. The willow's music is like a soprano. What is a sound device? The effect of a poem can depend on the sound of its words. Here are some examples. Sound devices: sounds like onomatopoeia, the use of words whose sound suggests their meanings. Example of onomatopoeia are the bang of a gun, the hiss of a snake, the buzz of a bee, the pop of a firecracker. Sound device: repetition, the repeating of sound words, phrases, or lines in a poem used to emphasize an idea or convey a certain feeling. Examples of repetition are: sing a song full of faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song of the hope that the present has brought us. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And I think I can. The isolation during my vacation created a situation of relaxation. Sound device: I rhyme all the time and I guess it sounds fine. The repetition of sounds at the end of words, rhyme, occurring within a line is called internal rhyme. A rhyme occurring at the end of a line is called end rhyme. Rhyme scheme: the pattern of end rhyme is in a poem. Lines that rhyme are given the same letter. Examples of internal rhyme and rhyme scheme: I looked at the shell in the ocean. I looked at the bell in the sea. I noticed the smell and the motion were very peculiar to me. Sound device: do you have rhythm? Let's clap. The pattern of sound created by stressed more emphasis and unstressed less emphasis use syllable. Many poems are given diacritical markings title and u depending on the rhythm. I looked at the shell in the ocean. I looked at the bell in the sea. I noticed the smell and the motion were very peculiar to me. Sound device: assonance, repetition of vowel sounds at the beginning, middle, or end of at least two words in a line of poetry. Examples of assonance are repeating the S sound in the words crescent, flush, extending, medicine, and death. Consonants: Repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning, middle, or end of at least two words in a line of poetry. Repeating the sound in the words shush, wish, sharp, cushion, and quash. Alliteration. Repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of at least two words in a line of poetry. Examples of alliteration are: the frog frolicked frivolously on the forest floor. Little skinny shoulder blades sticking through your clothes. Struck out by a steed flying fearless and feet. What is form? The form of a poem involves the physical arrangement of the words on the page, sometimes involving rhyme and rhythm. Line, a sentence or a fragment of sentence. Stanza, a group of more than one line. Here are some examples of form. Form, couplet, a pair of lines that rhyme. A couplet may be a poem in itself or part of a larger poem. What is an example of couplet? The artist stirred some blue and green to paint an underwater scene. From form, haiku, an unrhymed poem consisting of 3 lines and 17 syllables. These poems are normally about nature. The first line is 5 syllables, the second line is 7 syllables, and the third line is 5 syllables again. What is an example of a haiku? The autumn wind blows, 5 syllables, calling the leaves of the ground, 7 syllables, to join him in dance, 5 syllables. Form, limerick, a humorous 5-line poem made up of 13 lines, 13 beats with an AABBA rhyme scheme. The poem is named after the city of Limerick in Ireland. What is an example of a limerick? There was a young boy from Cebu who had trouble tying his shoe. He said to his ox, "I'll just walk in my socks." Now all of his friends do that too. Form, quatrain, a 4-line poem of any kind. They are often combined to form a larger poem. Its rhyme scheme may be AABB, ABAB, ABCB, or ABBA. What is an example of quatrain? A robin sitting in a tree turned her head and winked at me. She sang a song as if to say, "I'm glad to see you here today." There is nothing quite so peaceful as the sound of gentle rain, pitter pitter patting against my window pane. Form, sanguine, an unrhymed 5-line poem. The first line is one word that names the subject. The second line is 2 words that describe the subject. The third line is 3 the action verbs that describe the subject. The fourth line is 4 words that describe a feeling about the subject. The fifth line is 1 word that is a synonym or a summary of the subject. What is an example of sanguine? Butterflies, gentle creatures, fluttering, searching, landing. Lovely flashes of light, miracles. Form, environment, the running over of a line or thought into the next line without a strong break or pause. Example, I'm feeling rather sleepy, but I really don't know why. I guess it is the way the day has spun out of control. Free verse, poetry that does not contain regular patterns of rhyme and rhythm. The lines flow more naturally and have everyday speech. Rhythm poets who write in free verse often use the sound devices we have already discussed. Here's an example of May Swenson's The Southbound on the Freeway. They all hiss as they glide, like inches down the marked tapes. Those soft shapes, shadowy inside the hard bodies, are they their guts or their brains? Label the assonance, consonants, and alliteration. What is the effect of enjambment here? Are there any questions about today's lessons? So, figurative language, sound devices, forms. So, thank you all. Thank you very much for the patient listening, and I would request you to please like and subscribe my channel and encourage me so that I can keep serving you and serving all the English literature community scholars, students, scholars, and all the people who are anyhow in the English literature field, maybe teaching and learning. Thank you very much.